Hello everybody and welcome back to TJ's Lego Room, and I have a fun project that I have had down on paper for what seems like forever. This is my version of what Batman would look like in Star Wars. His alter ego name right now is called Bruce Hain, so it kind of sounds like Bruce Wayne, but kind of Star Wars-ified. Bruce Hain. Anyway, I don't have his superhero name yet. It's something I'm working on. I'm still working on the lore a little bit, but I will keep you updated in the multiple videos that I've got coming out in regards to what kind of vehicles Batman in Star Wars would drive. Now, I didn't just decide that Batman should be in Star Wars, but I also wanted to make sure that it made sense for him to be in Star Wars. Could a character, a superhero of sorts like Batman, exist in the Star Wars universe? And I think it's totally possible. I imagine that this particular character would have come from an affluent family, and his parents were killed. Now, as far as the villains go, I think it would more lean towards the crime syndicates rather than individual characters, because I do want to inject this character into the existing Star Wars universe. It kind of operates in the Outer Rim or in the outskirts of the galaxy. Not somebody who would really become well known at the time during the Star Wars. I'm not really sure what era he'd be in yet, but again, I'll keep you guys updated. If you have some comments or ideas or suggestions, let me know, because I think it's really fun. Bruce Hain uses Death Trooper armor, which is a little bit stronger than Stormtrooper armor. It's not as good as Mandalorian armor, but I imagine he's probably reinforced it. Plus, he only works in black or very, very dark gray. The helmet, of course, is from the new collectible minifigure series. I was looking at custom clone helmets from Clone Army Customs, but I ended up seeing this thing and going, I could use that instead. So I ended up picking up one of those. The arms are from Firestar Toys. The Death Troopers never came with printed arms, as far as I know. So here's my original Bat-Pod. This is from The Dark Knight. I developed this in tandem with my tumbler, because I had 4 of those black wheels. I think these wheels may have originally come from the Ice Planet series, but I had 4 of them in black, and I wanted to match the wheels from the tumbler to the Bat-Pod, so that was a big deal. But there's my original. I have another video on that. Here is the Bat-Speederbike. As you can see, I kept a lot of the visual similarities, even a lot of the same pieces on the thing. You can see I used the blasters from Star Wars that I used on the other one to represent the guns that Batman had on his Bat-Pod. I also kept the handlebars. I'm trying to remember names of things, guys. Sorry. The handlebars on here are the same as on my Bat-Pod. And then where he actually sits and a lot of the basic core of the design is the same, but I did make a few adjustments, as obviously some pretty big adjustments as well, to the rest of the vehicle. Now, these are subject to change, and if I find a really good change on them, I'll go ahead and let you guys know. But in the meantime, I'm pretty happy with how this is looking so far. So let's go ahead, let's jump in and get a little bit closer details, and I can show you some of the things that we did. But you can see I've got the double vanes on the front here. Those double vanes replace the front wheel. On the original Bat-Pod, it just has a single strut that goes down to the wheel. I was not able to keep that going, but I was able to create its own unique look by having the forks completely separated all the way down to the front. There's no connector between them like on most Star Wars speeders. So it does have a very unique design as far as even in Star Wars. You can see right down the middle there, it's got a gap almost all the way back to the pilot, which I think is really fun, and it gives it an interesting look. It doesn't quite look like a bat from above, which I could have tried to go for, but it's a little bit hard that way. There's a close-up on that. If you want to pause any of these, you can probably figure out a lot of how I put this particular thing together. It actually is a little bit complicated on the engine section right there, so you might have some hard times there, but I'd love to see creativity on that. Throw me a message or an image on Facebook if you have a better design, and I'll do the same if I figure out something else. Here we are side by side with the two. You can see I actually kept the dimensions fairly close to each other. The Bat-Speederbike is a little bit longer because I did want those vanes on the front, and then the engine got a little bit big as I was trying to make sure it went in all the different directions and also covered up all of the internal parts of how to get them to that point and adapt from the bricks to the Technic. But both ways, I think it turned out pretty good. As these are spinning around here, you can see that the Batmen are pretty much at the same point as they are height-wise. Obviously, the Speederbike would raise a little bit off the ground, but the height-wise, I'm very happy that they ended up being pretty close to each other. Anyway, this is a pretty short video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Otherwise, we will catch you next time in TJ's Lego Room as we talk about my Tumbler land speeder. So hopefully that'll be exciting for you. See ya.